If you're my auntie or that uncle or that cousin that watch this shit, right? I hope you die and rot in hell,
Do you also have a dilemma that you want us to figure out?
For whatever reason.
Yeah, why? This is your daily catch-up. Okay, so today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. A viewer actually reached out to us and shared a circumstance that she's currently facing. I myself started thinking about it quite a bit, so I'm not exactly sure what to do in this situation.
Okay.
Hi, I'm a big fan of TDK and listening to the show while doing chores is what I do.
Thank you.
Okay.
We are the third person in the friendship.
Yeah. And so she says that she's been putting off setting up an LPA, a lasting power of attorney, and a will because she's not sure who to appoint as the donee and the executor. The context for her situation is she's divorced and her dilemma is if she should appoint her oldest child who has different values when it comes to money and isn't financially informed enough to give her confidence, or the younger sibling who has values that are closer to hers but feels like the younger sibling lacks financial knowledge. However, the younger sibling seems to be more reliable when it comes to handling administrative tasks.
Okay.
And she believes that the younger sibling could do a better job in managing her affairs. So there's also a brother, as in her brother,
Yeah.
who is capable but often away for work. And she also doesn't feel like troubling him unnecessarily. She'd like to hear how we, or even the viewers, would decide in this situation. Okay, so the older child is in their late 20s and then the younger is in early 20s.
Okay, so I think the main difference is because a lot of people confuse themselves between a lasting power of attorney and a will. So essentially is that if you are still alive, but for some reason, right, you're in a circumstance that you are not of sound mind. So for example, you're in a coma or like something happened to you and so you're in a state that you can't make your own decisions.
Dementia.
Yeah, for example, then a lasting power of attorney actually grants somebody or some bodies the power to help you make those decisions. So for example, they can go to a bank and actually withdraw your money, for example, to pay for your medical bills. Or they can sell your house, for example, in case the medical bills stack up. So that's one. The will takes into effect when you do pass on your decision on how you want your assets to be dispersed, for example.
Right.
That's where the will comes into play.
I feel like this is a bit personal because I also have one younger sibling only. And then when I put myself in the shoes of the child, right? If my parents choose my brother, I wonder how I would feel about it. You know?
I actually put myself in the older siblings' shoes here. Because when I was when I was like 18, my dad passed away. So I had to help my mom sort the affairs out.
Okay.
And mom is like, she's obviously grieving as well. But you have to step up, you have to help, right? And because a special thing is that my dad was Malaysian. So I had to sort his affairs out in Malaysia.
Wow.
Right.
And we all live in Singapore, we're all Singaporeans. It was very sudden. It was like not like we saw it coming for a year kind of thing.
Right.
It just happened. So I had to go over and I had to work with a lawyer in Malaysia to try and sort out Malaysian law and affairs from there, which, as you can tell, not the easiest thing to do. And I basically had to take care of my family since then.
Yeah.
I'm the one that pays to keep the lights on, Like I'm the one who pays the bills. I have aunts and basically my mom's siblings who help. And I'm so thankful for that. But like, when you are at that age and then you're like, oh, now I'm getting this, but what am I going to be responsible for?
Yeah.
Like all these things on your shoulders. Right? And the younger you are, the worse it is.
Yep.
If I'm in this person's shoes, right, can I expect like one of my kids to shoulder this entire responsibility? And that is already, someone's already passed already.
Yeah.
In a LPA, the situation, the person is still alive and they can't care for themselves.
Yeah.
So not only are you trying to divvy up the, whatever's left for you and your sibling, you're also caring and making sure, that your sick parent is also...
I think one thing worthwhile to note is that you can always change your LPA. So you can change it as often as you want. You pay about like $50 to get it done one time. You got a lot of roadshow where you can do it for free. So that's one. I feel like I do understand the pain in that I think in my family, I also thought a lot of things would be very clear cut that if it's about me, then we will ask my wife. But then I thought another level, because I mean my wife is around ma. But I thought the other thing was that I feel like I don't want her to be the one to make the decision. Especially when you lump up advanced care plan also.
Yeah.
Which is what the government is trying to get you to do. Do both, right? This is not sponsored. It's really just an entry from...
So the difference is that the advanced care plan is specifically for your medical decisions,
Yeah.
which you can appoint two different people, by the way. LPA
Yeah, so
and-
I feel like at some point, right, if let's say one of the decisions to be made is to pull the plug on me in coma, right, I feel like Pat cannot make. Pat will never make a sound choice. Yeah, she might bleed herself dry and then everything die. Then after that, then I will probably still die.
Right.
Then after I die, then she she has
The weight of
nothing.
the emotions
She don't have
as
you
well.
and she'll be broke.
And no property or whatever, you know, or like she live in a little hole now. Yeah, so I wouldn't want that. So for me, I entrusted it to my sister, and then I made it very clear that if the doctor say unlikely, then we just take his word at face value. Unlikely means no. Yeah, so then we put a
shacks,
plug, we pass away. Because like I've spent my whole life prepping for this. Like my insurance is like money that I will never enjoy. But at this point, if I die, my family retires. It's like best case scenario, right? Nobody gets this money because I will outlive my insurance policies.
Right.
So to me, both is quite a sound plan.
Sorry, so
One is I retire, whole family tree straight. The other one, I live forever, then never cash it in.
So to understand, this one is you can just appoint somebody to execute your plan. That means you
Correct.
make all the decisions already. Nobody has to, at some point where you cannot, they have to make some decisions.
No, I think have.
So you will give them guidance on what are your preferences. After that, you need to go with a facilitator that's usually like a lawyer or whatnot to make sure both sides understand the weight of this responsibility that we're passing on.
Yeah.
That person will kind of sign off like almost like notarize it, be like, okay, this is true and certified, right?
Right.
It goes into the national vault where if something happens to you, you're in a coma and whatnot, right? Our public hospitals can pull this out. The problem is that many people that have not even heard of this thing or can't be bothered to do it, right? They might be rich, they have property, they have everything, but then when they get into some deep shit and they're in a coma and whatnot, right? They cannot even sell the house. They cannot access the bank. They need to go to court and fight for control, which might take a year, 2 years, because you can also imagine for the same amount of people that wish that their family have control of their bank account, there's also the same amount of people that be like, no, don't let my brother get my access. He will sell everything, you know? Yeah, so like in the same vein, we have to expect the courts to make this decision, cannot take this decision lightly and really see whether it's suitable for the person that's asking to have power of attorney, whether they can take it or not. Yeah.
Okay.
And so in that regard, right, you might in that instance bleed your whole family dry for you to have a no quality of life.
Right.
Yeah. And then after you die, bastard. You know? Then shag and then everybody bleed dry because of you, get into debt because of you.
I think for me, it's a bit more clear cut. I think for LPA, right? I mean, in this situation where, for example, I'm divorced and I don't have a spouse to put this on, right? I think for LPA and will, I'll have two separate plans. Because for the will, right, it doesn't matter whether one child has the same values as me as not. I think I will split it half-half and I'll get my brother to execute that will. So then it's really just a one-time thing. I mean, I don't think there's a lot of administration. Just settle all of that and then finish. Whereas for the LPA, I think because of the values, I may pick the younger sibling and it feels like a more temporary thing. Hopefully I'm not in a coma for 2 years, but it's a bit more temporary. And so that's what I'll do for the LPA instead. I think the value is quite important because you need someone who is in line with what you want, essentially.
Here's a blind spot. In a traditional, like someone is two guys, right? I think. The older guy will assume that mom will bring me. I feel like if mom pick the older one, right, the younger one will be like, yeah, that feels about right.
Yep.
But then when the mom pick the younger one, then the older one will feel like, oh, so this whole time you don't trust me, you trust him way more than me. You know, that kind of like, and then if you are about to leave this world or near the gates of heaven, right, it's the last legacy conflict.
True lah, but I think which is why the most important thing is to also not just assign these things blindly and they are finding out for the first time when you are actually in a coma, you have dementia. Like it's to have these conversations and to actually say this is the plan, guys. Like I think you need to have those and have like test temperature first, test water first and see what it's like. And if there's a huge amount of like, I don't know, ruckus or that the older sibling is putting up, then okay lah, try and manage that first before actually settling everything.
If my mother choose my brother, right, I'm older lah. So if my mother choose my brother, right, never mind.
Because you don't want the responsibility.
It's not that I don't want. It's more of like if they think he can provide the care that they require or that their values are more aligned, then I will respect their decision. Ma.
Yeah.
Because after all, it's my parents' wishes. Then if I'm imposing as an older sibling, right, then I'm not following their wishes also.
Yeah.
So like your part as the older son to play in this is to respect their wishes, ma.
So I feel like very often in
Yeah.
the families here, right?
Yeah.
That if the mom found herself in this dilemma already, right?
Yeah.
The older
Means-
brother is not like you. You know what I mean? Because then, what is this question? Why you DM a random YouTube group? You know what I mean? To me, I feel like it's thick. It really is thick.
It's a catch-22. We won't be discussing this. It didn't need to be.
And I feel like the only way, right? I feel like what I would do if these were my only options is that I will sit both of them down. I will tell them what is an LPA. This is for who and who good. This is what I want to do.
Now you volunteer. Who wants?
Yeah, like this is my wishes. You understand my wishes or not?
Yeah.
And if both of them straight up say yes, right? Say I need to appoint one of you. Anybody want to do it? And then and there, if they fight, I'm still alive. I'm right here. I'm going to.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We can split or not?
You can have a secondary. So if the first one, let's say if you are
Okay.
my guy,
Yeah.
then we both in a plane crash, right? I can have a secondary one.
You want to save money?
as
Don't
in-
travel with your donee.
Because you have to understand, a lot of people will just pick their siblings and their friends and whatnot. Then they're all 70, 80, 90 together. Then they all dementia already. You know what I mean?
You're asking whether you can pick
Sure.
both lah.
No, I'm asking whether like you can assign like the older sibling certain things and the younger one certain things.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, that's a great question. I completely forgot about that point. You can detail, so that will be more advanced. Then
Sure.
you spend more time with your lawyers drafting
Yeah.
your LPA.
Yeah.
Might as well lah.
Yeah, but then you can put for affairs of the house, it will be this one.
Yeah.
On that note, right, like I'm also struggling, but I think that specific to her situation is that she feels like different values when it comes to money and also isn't financially informed. But both children are also, she feels, lack financial knowledge. So I'm curious as to how much financial knowledge do you actually need to make
yeah.
the decisions that you will need to make. If this is her concern, then
Yeah.
it's more of, assuming there are no other more complicated issues,
Sure.
right? Then I will agree with John, which is that I would say sit down with your children, identify the things that need to be done or the things that need to be considered, and then figure out how you all can execute together.
It's not like you can frivolously spend the money, right?
No.
It's not meant for you to take what is for.
The truth is that it's possible.
It could be taken advantage
Yeah.
of.
Right.
I mean, I have free control of your bank account. I literally can
Oh,
walk into
okay.
a branch and say I'm withdrawing money from your bank.
Right.
Then if I say, yeah, he's hospital bill, I'm paying you cash, I could. Yeah.
Okay.
Theoretically. So that's why, in a sense, the LPA is very important because it's a person of your choosing according to your wishes. If not, your brother, maybe, your brother that you don't like will go and fight in court for custody of your money. Either way, at some point, it's possible if you are mentally incapacitated.
Nice.
Right?
Nice, got there.
If ever that is the point, right, there is a way for someone to fight, to take control one. So you want to be the one to choose. Is what I'm saying.
Well, was it difficult in your situation? Like how come it fell to you? Or did you like step up, or like what was the situation?
I'm not sure if it's a law in Malaysia or what, but like I basically had to sign for everything as the heir. I guess I assume now because I just turned 18. So I think
Wow.
I was basically just like
You just allowed to sign things only.
Yeah, I literally learned to sign yesterday, and then today I can sign for stuff,
Yeah.
and I'm signing for basically my father's estate.
Was it like you were going along with your mom to do everything together?
So I did need my mom around because we need to show that my mom is actually legally married to this person, the person with the bank account and the insurance payout name, and then I am their son. Yeah, so my mom basically told me to like take care of the funds because that's our rainy day fund basically for me to take care of my brother and my mom as well.
So you're pretty loaded, is what I'm hearing.
That was not a
This guy turned my dad dying when I was 18 into
I try to turn this a
what?
bit.
You think this estate is what?
I don't know.
You think
Malaysian land big, bro.
You think he sat next to Mahathir every week after week, is it?
Maybe.
He wasn't part of Mahathir's 10% club. Okay, so it's nothing to do with that.
You ran the YMDB.
yeah, sure. My dad ran one MDB.
Your father Jolo. What?
They put up a super. No. Do not put up. He sits next to mine.
It's a lot more straightforward, to be honest. When you are actually next of kin and you produce the death certificate, literally the doors kind of open. Yeah. The problem is, what if the person you want making the decisions is not your next of kin? Then very tough because the person that you think can best do it for you, right, or on behalf of you, will never get a chance as long as you have a next of kin alive. It's damn difficult. Yeah, the burden is pretty much on that person to prove that your next of kin is incapable. Who has the heart to do that?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Going back to this, I think it really depends what she means by like not aligned in terms of values and then financial knowledge, because I think those two things are solvable separately. Like if you don't have the same values, then I think okay, maybe don't assign the access to money to that person. But if it's the younger sibling and the only flaw is that got no financial knowledge, then I think it's about laying out a very clear-cut set of instructions. For example, if she's fearful that the younger sibling doesn't have financial knowledge and she has a lot of money tied up in like stocks or in a lot of different assets, then it's about keeping a very clear-cut set of instructions. Sell this from here, like empty out the entire bank account, empty out the entire stock brokerage, put it in this account, etc. I think that part is a lot more solvable than the no alignment in values.
Just like one instruction buy low, sell high.
Then the guy is like, I've been trying.
Yeah. No, because like for example, maybe she's very active in the stock market or even crypto or whatever, and she just feels like her kids maybe don't know anything about this. Or maybe the lack of alignment in terms of values is that she's very safe in terms of investment.
Sure.
And the older son just loves buying
He
crypto.
just sending it on Fartcoin, then
Like Trump.
Mom goes to the hospital and the first thing he does is he tells his sister, hey, we're sending it all on Fartcoin.
Yeah.
Like 100% on Fartcoin.
the next day she's in like the A-class ward. Like,
Can you imagine at ICU, they're telling you the price of the life-saving surgery, and then you go, can I pay in Fartcoin?
sorry, we only accept Doge.
Would you all consider picking like then pick the brother, right? Would you all consider picking the brother to take care of everything?
I will pick the brother. Because if you cannot trouble your family when you're in a coma,
Yeah.
then what is even
Like,
the point?
when else can you...
Yeah, if you fully trust the brother, it has to be your brother. And then when your children grow to be more capable, then spend a couple $100 or $50 or free by the time you hit that age. Then do it again.
Yeah.
Then transfer it to one of your children. There's only two sound decisions. The first one, to me at least in my opinion, is the brother. Because he's capable, he's trusted, he don't have to be there for everything. He can make a decision, he can do a withdrawal to his bank account, and then he can disperse his funds from overseas. And then the other one is that she don't have to pick from this tree lah. She can also pick a facilitator provided by the government, right?
Right.
You can, or if you have a really, really good, close, trusted friend lah. I know that really seems like off left field, but there are a lot of people who might not have siblings or might not have spouses or even kids. Like, I think that's actually a fair choice, especially if you know somebody who is financially sound or like, you know, legally sound or whatever.
I don't know how far away that is and whether there's a lot of like, it's a lot of a hassle or there's a lot of delays and that kind of stuff, or there are additional fees and whatnot with these external people that you can hire to do these jobs, right? But on top of that, I also feel like if it's my children having to deal with these things on top of having to deal with like my circumstances, right, as a parent, right, I feel like the emotional burden them shake.
Yeah.
So then I don't know whether I can trust them in that situation to also make these choices on my behalf, which is why I wouldn't choose the children at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know whether that makes sense.
No, I agree with you. I think you want someone a bit removed lah. Like Pat does not have my ACP.
And fair enough.
Yeah. My sister.
Can you not appoint like your family lawyer to execute your
Can.
wishes until
You
until
can
you
appoint me
pass,
also,
then
bro.
you split?
You can
Yeah,
appoint me
I mean,
also.
like
Yeah.
in this
I appoint you.
person's...
Hey, it's a bit troublesome one, I want to say. It's really a bit troublesome one. After you fill out everything, right, then you need to go to a place, then we both need to go together one. Then we
Right.
both need to sign and submit.
From my understanding, if you don't do LPA, it will just default to that. They will find somebody
Next
for you,
of
right?
kin. No?
If you don't do LPA, you coma. Then for whoever that want to seize control of your assets, no, I mean that sounds bad, right? But maybe they just want to help you pay off your bills, for example, right? They have to go and get the rights in court.
It should also be worth noting that once, like we talk about the will part of things, right? Your CPF cannot be determined on your will. You actually need to go to the website and make a nomination, and they only honor that. If not, it will go to the courts to decide as well. So make sure you set your CPF nominations.
What age do you think is appropriate to do this? Like if say you have children.
Will later on. I think LPA by the time you have dependents.
Honestly,
Oh, okay.
I think both very, very important to do like immediately when you start working. And as long as you're starting to accumulate assets in any form, like even like the most frustrating part, right, especially when we were doing a campaign like a long time ago, is that a lot of people felt like they weren't rich enough to do like an LPA or a will. But anyone should actually do it as long as you start like working.
It can be a very simple will, like everything go to my wife.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that. Then because my favorite fun fact, right, with regards to wills, right?
Oh, there's fun facts about wills.
Dude, I went to a will seminar. I don't know why. My friend is one of those professionals.
He tried to invite me, I was like, no thanks.
So basically, if my wife and I were on a plane, then the plane got shot down by missiles, right?
Okay.
Where does my money go?
Person will shot you down.
No, guess.
If you have a child,
And I don't have one.
okay. So then you will go to I feel you'll go to your parent.
Yeah,
One
so
of
you
your
go to
parents.
So it goes to
Parents.
Pat's parents.
Okay.
Is that not weird? It's because, right, if Pat and I die together, it's called
Yeah.
a common disaster. So in
Sure.
times of common disaster, if I'm not wrong, right, they will interpret the younger person die later. So like Pat and I together, so
Got
I'm
it.
like 1 month plus older than Pat, right?
Yeah.
So they're projecting
if we die together, because I die first,
Sure.
in common disaster, my assets went to spouse because that's how the legal
okay,
system draws
okay.
it, right?
Yeah.
So everything goes to my spouse, and then my spouse died. So everything goes to my spouse's immediate family, which is her mother, which is her parents. So if I die with Pat on a plane, her parents get all my money, which I don't have a will.
If we put ourselves in the shoes of the children, right? Do you all think you all will fight with your siblings or potentially have issues with your siblings over the division of like inheritance or whatnot?
I honestly would not consider it weird if my brother, was asked by my mom to handle her medical affairs for whatever reason.
Yeah,
But
you
will
collect
question
Pokemon.
one time in your
No.
head, like, how come?
I would already assume that she would have asked me to do it just by virtue of being older and having already done similar stuff, that I've already done before in life.
Right.
So by virtue of the experience, I would assume I would be the one to do it.
All the more if it's your younger brother.
I would consider, I'll be like, is there some reason why I was not the one?
Yeah.
She saw you collect Pokemon cards and she's like, this guy, the money management.
And then your brother say wrong thing and be like, bro, look at you lah, isn't it? Don't you know?
My brother plays Marvel Rivals and yells every night. I don't know if he's the better person for this. There's no good option. My mom might have to ask the neighbor. Ask the neighbor to help at this point. No, but I'll just assume it will be me. But you know what? I don't think it's wrong if you feel a bit weird if you are passed over. If you were in the hierarchy and you passed over and you think twice about it, I don't think it's wrong.
If you're watching this and you think that it could be your mom that wrote in, right? Tell your mom that it's okay.
Assure her lah.
There's going to be 5,000 people going up to their moms.
Even if it's not.
But
This is
really
your
bring
cue.
this up to your family. I feel like the worst thing, especially your
Yeah.
people watching this, your parents are 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s already.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like a lot of families feel like, we cannot talk about this because like don't talk about death lah,
Yeah.
choy lah, that kind of thing.
So not deaf.
Do you know your parents settle this thing already?
Have lah, rich
I
people
think
always
have.
settle one.
I
They
think
got family
have.
lawyer and
That's
shit,
right,
like,
that's
they
I
have
think
like
have
family
quite
office.
long ago,
But you have no idea.
but I have no idea. So that means it's not me.
No, it's the kind of thing they only reveal at the time when you need to do it.
Oh, no, but you have to be there to
Oh,
sign.
you have to be a sign.
Oh, it's LP. Oh, LP.
Yeah,
You must
LPA you have
agree
to sign.
But that's not you. Ah.
Yeah, it's not me.
So I think you next time before they go family holiday,
Yeah.
you just work on the paperwork with them.
No, you just say you buy insurance already. They're like, no, I knew I buy for all of you already. It's just like
What you don't know is he already does this.
that kind of guy.
He already does this.
Oh, is it?
He's always the one asking you to buy
Bro,
insurance.
that's confirm you ah.
He's always the one buying travel insurance.
Travel insurance
He's the
always
guy.
got a lot of good deals. So
Yeah, he's the guy. You know how many air tags he's collected or not? From free travel insurance gifts.
One.
This is the guy.
Is inheritance expected? And if no inheritance is left, is it considered that the parents are like they didn't really plan for the future?
I think my parents would, if they had the opportunity, they would want to leave a lot for my sister and I.
Yeah.
But really no chance. They give up their insurance and everything. Like that was the part where when I felt most sandwiched in the Sunrich generation, right? Was realizing that I was the medical insurance. Like a few years ago, like, especially when I personally was struggling financially that time, then I'm like, oh my God, like you just fall sick and I'm wiped out. Like the last 10 years of working were gone to shit really. Yeah, so that part was quite sad that they let go their insurance. I feel like as much as possible, try and hold on to your insurance. Like inheritance, right, is secondary, is a bonus.
Yeah.
Hold on to your insurance is one of the most important things you can do.
But do you all think like if you have hypothetical children, do you feel like you would have let your children down if you didn't leave them something?
Yes, but I won't give a fuck, I think. You?
Yeah, no, I think as much as possible, every parent want to leave their child something. But I think as much as parents want to leave their child something, the child shouldn't expect it.
yeah.
In my mom's side, the family of got 10 children. She lived a long life. My grandfather, I've never met him. He was a butcher and allegedly, according to grandmother passed down, blah, 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 right? He was like a head of the butcher association.
Wow.
Part of the reason why our wet markets close on Monday.
Oh.
Like that kind of legacy in my family.
He instituted the work from home.
Yes,
Oh,
on Monday,
okay,
yeah.
okay.
10 children, of which the older ones did financially better, right? Then the younger ones financially not so. My mom is the youngest, so you kind of know where we stand now. So when the mom fell sick and everything, right? Everyone try and contribute together. Granted, the not so well off ones didn't contribute financially as much. So, but I think everybody's steady. Those that never give money want physically there to take care or bring their children physically there to take care. So when my grandmother died, my mom was fully expecting that she's not going to take a single cent because she knows that the rest gave more. But what happened was one of the auntie engineered for my grandmother to sign the house to her daughter. And then when she died, they just took control and then they sold the house. And all the 9 siblings don't know, like didn't get anything.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Granted, they were the I don't know. They were probably the ones that were contributing a little bit more. But I don't know how much does this old lady need for maintenance to begin with,
Sure,
right?
yeah.
But definitely more than my family, lah. I'll be
Okay.
confirmed. Yeah.
Yeah.
But when that happened, they just stay out. Then they just sold the. Then my that cousin that watched me grow up, that auntie that watched me grow up.
Never see them again.
Yeah, we just never saw them. They just like that. They just gone.
They got their profit already. They're done.
Yeah.
They cashed in.
So the moment my grandmother died, the first Chinese New Year, right? Half the family gone already. I don't see them already.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's only one other uncle or two other uncle. Then that's it.
This is also quite literally the plot of How to Make Millions Before Grandma Dies. Right? That's exactly what happened
which
in
to
you
me is
also,
so scary because I've always felt like I grew up in the most loving of family. Like my extended family, my relatives, Chinese New Year, like mad. Like my family tree was hundreds of people on it. Like it's so because 10 kids, ma. When that happened to my family, then I realized you can't fuck around. Like money, right, changes people. And if you're my auntie or that uncle or that cousin that watched this shit, right? F like really, I hope you die and rot in hell, eh?
Yeah.
Because it was the worst. It really was the worst. The showmanship that appeared during the funeral. Wah, insane, eh? And having seen how the wayang, people that don't care, when die already, right, they know they're not contributing to even the wake, they will choose to make a din on the quality of coffin. But they are not contributing, you know. That night, the wake overnight, who will stay? Their name not even in the head one, eh? But they will make a din on how can we let mother stay, like die in this coffin. When this is the cheap, we're gonna burn it in like fucking 5 minutes, eh? Can you chill or not? You know what I mean? Like where was all these fucking wayang when she was alive and she needed help and she was lonely? Yeah, so I had it with these people and
I'm realizing this is cross-cultural also. I think it's not just it's
quite universal.
exact same.
It's money lah. Money is the common theme,
The
right?
common denominator is at the end of the day is money.
So one of the questions that I wanted to end it off with, right? Because this lady seems to be pointing out like specific characteristics and traits of her children and whatnot that she's trying to identify in order to evaluate whether who she should do this with, right? Are there particular things that we should look out for in people? I mean, given that now family is a lot smaller nowadays, right? The family unit and all that. So there's probably a tendency that you might have to go to a friend or somebody outside of family to rely on them for things like that. So are there particular traits or characteristics or something that we should look out for to identify in somebody that we can trust with something like that?
Yeah, I think it's who do you want what you leave behind, right? Who is the beneficiary? Then you must find someone that also personally wants to take care and love of that beneficiary. I think that's the single most important thing. Yeah. Number one, you keep it within the family or people that love and will protect your family. So I think brother qualifies as family.
Yeah.
And then after that, and if it's your children, so be it. But you make sure that your children know who to go to for help, for advice.
So I'm thinking back now, so I think the most recent case was probably my uncle who passed away, who was my legal guardian when I was here in Singapore, right? Like 5 years ago. And I think the very important part is to assign someone that doesn't have a conflict of interest. So I think one thing that he did that was really smart was that the executor of his will and even the LPA wasn't a beneficiary of the will, so that they can be quite rational about everything. And she's also an accountant, so she's very, very good with like admin stuff, very, very diligent and very responsible. So like everything was done like
What is
really,
the difference? What is the executor of a will? What does it do?
so she's literally the person that reads through every point of the will and ensures that everything goes where it should be. She also takes charge of the estate. So like, for example, if anything needs to be banked out into a bank account first, it goes to her. Then she then disperses if need be.
Wow, also made trust though, that one.
What's to
Let's
stop
trust.
this person from just taking everything?
Everyone who is technically a beneficiary of the will, hopefully it's read out properly in a proper session. They would know what the will says. So if the amount doesn't actually come to you or the asset doesn't come to you, then you can actually take it out.
Right.
And if this person doesn't give a fuck at the end of the day, first, like, say you choose wrongly, right? They can just like, I'm not going to bother with the administrative execution. Will they get in trouble for not executing?
They will, because you can technically
It's by
go to the
law one
courts.
lah.
Yeah.
But you have to go to the courts lah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
so it will become very troublesome and everything.
Then if you feel like you're gonna fight for $5,000, then hey, not worth going to the courts then.
yeah.
But let's say you have a house. Let's say it's on a drive called Exley.
Ooh, sounds familiar.
And then let's say you are deciding who to give it to or what to happen to it. It's your property, ma. And then people are like slightly trying to bury in your mind. And then try to convince you. Hey,
Where do you stand on the
actually,
Oxley
it's your,
issue?
Sorry, the Exley
No,
drive.
where do you stand on the Oxley? No, so different topic.
Completely different.
Where do you stand on the
I don't know if this
Oxley
one
issue?
exists. I don't know if this drive exists. I'm just putting.
I saw this scene in Knives Out.
Okay, so to the viewer that submitted this, we hope this conversation has helped. And I'm pretty sure that, okay, like, at least for me personally, I think I learned quite a few things. And I think that for the viewers watching, if you don't know anything about this now you kind of know. If not, send it to your
Even
parents.
if you have no one explore a public facilitator.
I think
Or-
the
or
biggest
me.
takeaway is talk to your family.
Yeah, it's
me.
so important
Yeah.
to broach this
Or
topic.
you talk to you okay.
Or if anyone has like a better solution, maybe what we say is waffle, right? Just comment down below lah.
Can the folks at PMA can just correct our don't bother us you just write our edits at the
We'll
bottom.
put the correction maybe.
If not, if anybody else has questions you guys want to submit, feel free. Let's try.
Sure. Even if we get it wrong.
Slide to our DMs.
But we're not lawyers.
We're not lawyers.
But you have confidentiality.
We won't mention your name.
Unless you want us to.
But then we can.
We will decide if we want to.
A lot of disclaimers and caveats.
Set up.
Sure. So you show the models in two of the positions that they can be
I see.
deployed and undeployed.